in response to rising tensions in the West Philippine Sea, where Beijing's assertive actions are challenging the region's stability. The United States and the Philippines are teaming up to bolster Manila's defensive capabilities. Together, they're planning to build new military facilities and enhance existing bases to support joint military operations. Part of this plan includes constructing new airports and seaports across the Philippine archipelago, specifically positioned near the strategic waters of the West Philippine Sea and the Taiwan Strait. One key development is the revitalization of air and naval facilities at Subic Bay Freeport, an area with deep historical roots. Located 50 miles northwest of Manila, Subic Bay served as a hub for the U.S. 7th Fleet until 1992. Now, this deepwater harbor is set to play a crucial role again, as the Philippine Air Force establishes a forward operating base there, designed to house maritime patrol assets, fighter jets, missile storage, and a vast hangar for new surveillance aircraft. This renewed presence will empower the Philippine Armed Forces to respond swiftly to any emerging situations in the South China Sea, a move aimed at countering China's growing influence. The Philippines is looking to make Subic Bay a critical base for aerial surveillance and power projection, strategically restoring the site of the former American Naval Air Station. Since the U.S. withdrew in the 1990s, this site has transformed into the Subic Bay International Airport. Yet recently, Philippine and American military activities have returned, using Subic to resupply, refuel, and repair their vessels. As Manila doubles down on its commitment to fortify its defenses, the expanded military infrastructure at Subic Bay signals a strong alliance with the U.S. and a clear message of resilience amid China's territorial ambitions. In 2022, the Philippines strategically opened the Subic Naval Operating Base, located just next to the South China Sea and close to the contested Scarborough Shoal. This 100-hectare area, once home to the Hanjin Heavy Industries shipyard and now owned by American firm Cerberus, has quickly become the most critical naval base for the Philippine Navy. What makes it stand out? It's the only base in the Philippines capable of supporting the U.S. military's largest vessels. The Philippine Armed Forces is taking things a step further by making Subic Bay International Airport a key hub for joint operations across air, sea, and land. As part of the country's strategic basing plan, the airport is being positioned to support operations not just within Philippine territory, but also into Manila's exclusive economic zone. The existing runway at the former U.S. Naval Air Station could soon host surface attack aircraft, which would back up both land and maritime operations, according to the Philippine Air Force's bidding documents. And that's not all. The Philippines is also developing an airport on Pagasa Island, known as Thitu Island, in the Spratlys, in a direct response to China's ongoing territorial claims in the South China Sea. Construction of a runway extension is already in the works, with the Philippine President's Communications Office confirming the project. Once completed, this airport will provide a much-needed connection to the remote island where Filipino civilians and military personnel reside, ensuring a reliable means of transportation and strengthening the country's presence in the region. These new infrastructure projects are set to significantly enhance the Philippines' ability to accommodate larger military aircraft. They're a top priority for the Marcos administration, designed not only to strengthen the country's defense, but also to open up the southern region of the capital to fresh investments, improve transportation, and boost tourism. These steps are part of the Philippines' broader strategy to assert its presence in the contested waters of the South China Sea. One key part of this strategy is the construction of a new airport on Pagasa Island, internationally known as Thitu Island. Once completed, this airport will transform travel to and from the remote island, improving supply routes and potentially spurring tourism and investment in the region. However, this move is likely to escalate tensions with Beijing as China continues to lay claim to the area. Pagasa, part of the Chilean chain, is located over 285 nautical miles from Palawan. The Philippines has maintained both military and civilian presence there for years, despite China's competing claims. It's also the largest island the Philippines controls in the Spratly Islands, and it's home to about 200 Filipino residents. The government established a municipality on the island in 1978 under Palawan Province. In addition to Pagasa, the Philippines controls 8 other features in the South China Sea, including the second Thomas Shoal, also known locally as Ayumi, all of which it claims as part of its exclusive economic zone. Meanwhile, the Philippine government is putting the finishing touches on another critical project, a military runway on Balabac Island, located in Palawan near the South China Sea. This project is nearing completion and is one of the major sites covered by the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, between the Philippines and the US. Signed in 2014, the EDCA allows the US military to access Philippine bases for joint training, humanitarian missions, and disaster relief efforts, and it's widely seen as a strategy to counter China's growing presence in the region. The construction of a 3-kilometer runway is part of the Defense and Public Works Department's Building Infrastructure for Peace and Security program, which kicked off in 2017. This airstrip is designed to accommodate both military and civilian aircraft, enhancing the Philippines' security capabilities. It's a key project under the Marcos administration, which aims to open up the region south of Manila to new investments, improve transportation, and bolster the tourism sector. Currently 90% complete, the project is a collaboration between the Department of Public Works and Highways and the Department of National Defense. Once finished, it will serve as a dual-purpose facility for both military and civilian flights. Located in Balabac, Palawan, this town is strategically significant, lying at the southernmost tip of the province and the westernmost undisputed point of the Philippines. Separated from Malaysia's Sabah by the Balabac Strait, it is strategically positioned near the contested waters of the South China Sea. Balabac Island is particularly significant because of its proximity to China's military fortifications in the West Philippine Sea. It is located about 140 nautical miles from Mischief Reef, which China seized in 1995 and has since turned into one of its largest artificial islands. The Philippines considers this area within its 370-kilometer exclusive economic zone, EEZ. Balabac is home to one of the Philippine Navy's most strategic naval stations, and its location makes it a key site for the US military, as part of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDC, between the Philippines and the United States. Alongside this project, another military airbase redevelopment, funded by the US, is taking place at Basa Air Base in central Luzon as part of the EDCA. These infrastructure upgrades are aimed at strengthening the Philippines' defense posture while fostering deeper cooperation with the US in the face of increasing tensions in the region. The Pentagon has awarded a $32 million contract to upgrade an airfield in the Philippines, marking another step in the broader US effort to enhance Manila's military infrastructure. Funded under the Pacific Deterrence Initiative, which aims to counter China's growing influence across the Indo-Pacific, this upgrade to Basa Air Base will include a 625,000 square foot parking apron capable of hosting up to 20 aircraft. Historically home to the Philippines' fighter squadrons, Basa is a central part of numerous projects under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, which facilitates closer military collaboration between the US and the Philippines. Signed in 2014, the EDCA allows US forces to access Philippine military bases for rotational troop deployments and the construction of facilities at the discretion of Manila. For the upgrades at Basa, the US Air Force has emphasized that the investments are critical for sustaining efforts to help modernize and train the Philippine military. While the Philippine Air Force is already working on modernizing BASA, they still lack enough aircraft parking space to accommodate US planes, prompting this new upgrade. Both countries have underscored that the EDCA supports Philippine military modernization through the creation of new infrastructure and increased training with US forces. As tensions rise between Manila and Beijing over territorial disputes in the South China Sea, especially concerning Second Thomas Shoal and the resupply of the Philippine Marine garrison, the pace of investment in these bases has accelerated. Basa Air Base, which was originally constructed just before World War II and is seen used by both US and Imperial Japanese forces, currently houses the Philippines' only fighter squadron, consisting of 12 Korean-made FA-50PH Fighting Eagles. These fighters are vital to the country's air defense capabilities, and they train alongside US forces each year. As tensions continue to escalate between China and the Philippines, Manila has devised a new approach to counter China's growing maritime presence. And surprisingly, it involves a focus on Taiwan, which could prove to be Beijing's Achilles heel. To strengthen the country's territorial defense, the Philippines Defense Secretary has ordered the military to boost the number of troops stationed on the northernmost island, particularly the remote Batanes Island. During a recent visit to the naval installations there, the agency also called for the development of more infrastructure on the island, funded by the US. This infrastructure will include ports capable of accommodating large vessels and other facilities that could be vital during crises, such as humanitarian aid or disaster relief. But here's the twist. The Batanes Island sits just 125 miles, 200 kilometers away from Taiwan, a self-ruled island that China considers its breakaway province and has long sought to control. This announcement by the Filipino Defense Secretary comes amid rising tensions between China and the Philippines in the South China Sea. After months of confrontations at sea and strong rhetoric from Chinese authorities, the Philippines is taking steps to ramp up its military capabilities and secure its territorial defenses. The decision to boost troop presence and expand infrastructure on the Batanes Islands is clearly a part of this broader strategy. The Bashi Channel, located between Batanes and Taiwan, is a key shipping route for vessels traveling between the Western Pacific and the disputed South China Sea, and it could become a critical passage for China in the event of hostilities. In October 2023, the Philippine Navy established a new naval detachment on Mavulis Island in Batanes. In November 2023, the Philippines and the US launched joint patrols from Mavulis Island, just 100 kilometers from Taiwan, stretching into the South China Sea, as part of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA. The United States was also granted access to a small portion of the Philippines' territory in the Cagayan region. Fuga Island, located just 250 miles, 400 kilometers, south of Taiwan, could play a strategic role, potentially helping to counter China's southern flank in the event of a naval attack on Taiwan. The Philippines' Batanes Islands could also play a key role for the United States in launching operations against China, thanks to its location next to two major maritime routes, the Luzon Strait and the Bashi Channel. These vital passages offer direct access to the South China Sea and the Pacific. There's even speculation that the US might build a civilian port on the Batanes Islands. This cluster of atolls and islets sitting along the strategic Luzon Strait is not only a critical shipping lane, but also a key route for undersea fiber optic cables. However, the region isn't without its challenges. It's also a route used by the Chinese Navy, particularly during large-scale drills designed to intimidate Taiwan. If tensions between China and Taiwan escalate into full-blown conflict, it's almost certain that large naval forces will pass through or operate in the Luzon Strait. This makes the Philippines, located just to the south of Taiwan, a crucial piece in US military strategy. It could serve as a pivotal base of operations to support Taiwan in the event of a Chinese attack, while also playing a key role in deterring China's ambitions in the South China Sea. The Philippines forms a critical part of the First Island Chain, a series of key Pacific archipelagos that stretch out from the East Asian mainland. Today, this chain is considered the most effective line of defense against potential Chinese expansion. Under the Mutual Defense Treaty, the U.S. gains access to more sites in the Philippines, reinforcing the Southeast Asian country's position as a strategic ally for Washington. This alliance strengthens the U.S. presence in the region, which is essential in any potential conflict with China over Taiwan or the South China Sea. This deal is part of Washington's broader effort to reaffirm its influence in Asia, counter China's growing aggression, and rebuild partnerships that have become strained in recent years. Among the USS 5 Treaty allies in Asia, the Philippines and Japan are the closest geographically to Taiwan. The Philippines' northernmost inhabited island, Itbayan, lies just 93 miles from Taiwan. With increased U.S. access to northern Luzon, closer to Taiwan than any other Philippine island, this alliance is set to play a front-and-center role in ensuring security and deterrence in Northeast Asia.